the world a vast and intricate tapestry woven with threads of time. Each thread a civilization, a story of human endeavour, innovation and ambition. We marvel at the ruins of ancient cities, colossal monuments to forgotten gods. We decipher cryptic scripts on crumbling walls, whispers from a past long vanished. But what stories do these silent stones tell? What led to the rise and fall of these great empires, these architects of human history? The echoes of fallen civilizations reverberate through the ages, their whispers carried on the winds of time. We find them in the ruins of once great cities, in the artifacts unearthed from forgotten tombs, and in the very DNA we carry within ourselves. These echoes tell tales of innovation and artistry, of complex societies and remarkable achievements, but they also speak of conflict and conquest, of the human capacity for both great compassion and unimaginable cruelty. To study conquered civilizations is to confront the duality of human nature. It is to grapple with the uncomfortable truth that progress and destruction are often intertwined, that the rise of one civilization often comes at the expense of another. It is to acknowledge the scars left by war, the trauma of cultural erasure, and the enduring legacy of colonialism. History is often written by the victors, their narratives etched in stone and passed down through generations. But what of the vanquished? What of those whose stories were silenced, whose perspectives were erased from the official record? To truly understand the impact of conquest, we must strive to see the world through the eyes of the conquered. Imagine standing on the precipice of change, witnessing the arrival of a foreign force, their technology and tactics unlike anything you've ever known. Imagine the fear, the uncertainty, the sense of your world being irrevocably altered. This was the reality for countless civilizations throughout history, from the Aztecs in the Americas to the ancient Egyptians in the Nile Valley. In the heart of Mesoamerica, a civilization flourished under the watchful gaze of towering volcanoes. The Aztecs, masters of engineering and artistry, built their grand capital, Tenochtitlan, upon an island in the middle of a lake. Canals crisscrossed the city, connecting bustling marketplaces with towering pyramids and palaces. A symphony of color and sound, Tenochtitlan was a testament to the Aztecs' ingenuity and their deep connection to the natural world. Life for the Aztecs was a vibrant tapestry woven with intricate rituals, a complex social hierarchy, and a deep reverence for their gods. Skilled artisans crafted exquisite jewelry from gold and precious stones, while farmers cultivated floating gardens, maximizing their harvests in the fertile valley. Warriors, revered for their bravery, defended the empire's borders, their victories celebrated in grand ceremonies that echoed with the beat of drums and the chants of priests. The year was 1519. A sense of unease gripped the Aztec Empire. Rumors of strange men with pale skin and hair like the sun had reached the court of Moctezuma II, the Aztec emperor. These whispers, carried by traders and travelers, spoke of towering ships with white wings that moved without oars and weapons that spat fire and thunder. To Moctezuma, steeped in ancient prophecies, these tales were more than mere curiosities. They were interpreted as omens, harbingers of a prophecy foretold in the stars. According to Aztec belief, Quetzalcoatl, the feathered serpent god, had been banished from the land, vowing to return one day from the east. Could these strangers be the fulfillment of that ancient prophecy? As if to confirm their fears, a series of ill omens plagued the empire. A comet blazed across the sky, its fiery tail a portent of doom. Lightning struck the temple of Huitzilopochtli, the god of war, setting it ablaze. Leading the expedition from the east was Hernán Cortés, a Spanish conquistador driven by ambition and fueled by tales of gold-laden empires ripe for the taking. He had landed on the Yucatan Peninsula with a small force of just over 500 men. But his true strength lay not in numbers, but in his cunning, his ruthlessness, and the technological advantage of his weaponry. Cortés, recognizing the opportunity presented by the Aztecs' fear and uncertainty, skillfully exploited their belief in prophecy. He embraced the role of Quetzalcoatl, the returning god, using the Aztecs' own beliefs as a weapon against them. His arrival in Veracruz was met with a mixture of awe and trepidation. Gifts were exchanged, alliances forged, and Cortés, ever the strategist, began to sow seeds of discord amongst the Aztecs' rivals. Moctezuma, torn between his advisors' warnings and his own belief in prophecy, chose to welcome Cortés and his men into Tenochtitlan. Cortés took the emperor hostage within his own palace. During the sacred festival of Toxcatl, Spanish soldiers attacked unarmed revelers, massacring hundreds. The city became a battleground. Moctezuma was killed by his own people. On August 13, 1521, the Aztec Empire fell. The once mighty city lay in smouldering ruins, its canals choked with bodies. The Nile, a ribbon of life winding through the desert sands, nurtured a civilization that stood as a beacon of human achievement. Ancient Egypt, a land of pharaohs and pyramids, held a mystical allure for generations. For over 3,000 years, the pharaohs ruled over a land unified by faith and tradition. From the pyramids of Giza to the temples of Karnak, their achievements stand as a testament to their ingenuity and faith. Yet, like the sands of the desert, even the mightiest empires can crumble. Alexander of Macedon, a name whispered in awe and fear, echoed across the ancient world. Schooled in philosophy by Aristotle himself, Alexander, at a young age, inherited his father's ambition and a kingdom poised for expansion. He swept across Greece, uniting its fractured city-states under his banner, his sights set on the once invincible Persian Empire. With lightning speed and strategic brilliance, Alexander's armies marched east, crushing the Persian forces in a series of decisive battles. His reputation as a military genius, a leader who inspired unwavering loyalty in his troops, preceded him. City after city fell before his advance, his empire expanding with each passing victory. In 332 BC, Alexander's conquest led him to Egypt. Weakened by internal strife and weary of Persian rule, the Egyptians saw in Alexander not a conqueror but a liberator. He entered Memphis, the ancient capital, not as a foreign invader but as a pharaoh, crowned in a ceremony that linked him to the lineage of ancient kings. Alexander's death in 323 BC at the age of 32 left a power vacuum that his generals were quick to fill. Ptolemy I Soter, one of Alexander's most trusted companions, seized control of Egypt, establishing a dynasty that would rule for nearly 3 centuries. The Ptolemies, though of Macedonian descent, embraced Egyptian customs, adopting the titles of pharaoh and presenting themselves as the heirs to the pharaohs of old. Under Ptolemaic rule, Egypt experienced a period of relative peace and prosperity. Alexandria, with its magnificent library and its lighthouse, one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, became a beacon of knowledge, attracting scholars and artists from across the Mediterranean. Greek language and culture flourished alongside ancient Egyptian traditions, creating a unique fusion that influenced art, architecture, and philosophy. The Ptolemies, shrewd rulers that they were, understood the importance of maintaining stability and appeasing the priesthood, the guardians of ancient traditions. They funded the construction of temples, participated in religious festivals, and presented themselves as protectors of Egyptian culture. This delicate balancing act, this fusion of Greek and Egyptian traditions, allowed the Ptolemaic dynasty to flourish for generations. Section 4. Whispers in the Library. The end of an era. As the Ptolemaic dynasty weakened, Roman expansion cast a long shadow over Egypt. Cleopatra VII fought to preserve her kingdom's independence. The Battle of Actium marked the end of the Ptolemaic dynasty. Cleopatra chose to end her life, marking the end of the pharaohs. The Library of Alexandria was destroyed, a tragic loss. Yet the spirit of ancient Egypt continues to captivate and inspire. Section 1. The Rise of the Eagle, Rome's Ascent to Power. From humble beginnings on the banks of the Tiber River, a civilization rose to prominence, its shadow stretching across the Mediterranean and beyond. Rome, a city of warriors and senators, of emperors and gladiators, would leave an indelible mark on the tapestry of history, its legacy echoing through the halls of time. The Roman story is one of ambition, military prowess, and an insatiable hunger for expansion, a relentless march towards empire that would reshape the map of the ancient world. It began with a republic, a system of governance unlike any other. Citizens, bound by duty and driven by civic pride, elected their leaders, their voices echoing in the forum, the heart of Roman political life. The Roman legions, renowned for their discipline and effectiveness, marched forth, conquering neighbouring tribes and expanding Rome's sphere of influence. Victory followed victory, each conquest adding to Rome's wealth, its prestige and its reputation as an unstoppable force. Life in the Roman Republic, Rome transformed from a modest city-state into a sprawling metropolis. Streets were paved with stone, showcasing Roman engineering. Aqueducts brought fresh water, fueling the city's bathhouses. The Forum evolved into the heart of Roman civic life. The Colosseum, a colossal amphitheatre, entertained the masses. Wealth from conquests widened the gap between rich and poor. The Republic's success contained the seeds of its decline. Section 3. The Cracks in the Facade, Seeds of the Roman Decline. The Roman Republic, once a model of civic virtue and military strength, began to show signs of strain under the weight of its own vastness. The very institutions that had propelled Rome to greatness, its Senate, its army, its system of governance, began to buckle under the pressures of a sprawling empire. Corruption, once an exception, became endemic, eroding public trust and undermining the rule of law. The legions, once the pride of Rome, became increasingly reliant on foreign recruits, their loyalty to the empire often questionable. Ambitious generals, their eyes on the ultimate prize of power, used their armies not to defend Rome's borders, but to advance their own political ambitions. Civil wars, once unthinkable, became a recurring nightmare, tearing the Republic apart from within. The gap between rich and poor, exacerbated by the influx of wealth from conquered territories and the exploitation of slave labour, created a volatile underclass ripe for unrest and rebellion. The traditional values of the Republic, duty, honour, civic responsibility, were eroded by greed, self-interest, and a growing sense of entitlement amongst the ruling elite. The Roman spirit, that indomitable will that had propelled them to greatness, seemed to be waning, replaced by a sense of complacency and decadence. The fall of the Western Roman Empire. The Roman Empire enjoyed a period of peace and prosperity known as Pax Romana. Yet internal weaknesses began to surface. Emperors struggled to hold the empire together. On the frontiers, new threats emerged. Barbarian tribes tested the empire's defences. The Goths, Vandals and Huns posed constant challenges. Barbarian invasions weakened the empire's defences. In 410 AD, Rome fell to the Visigoths. The Western Roman Empire collapsed in 476 AD, deposed by Odoacer. Its legacy would endure for centuries to come. Life before the storm. Before Europeans arrived, the land was a tapestry of diverse Native American nations, each with its own unique culture. From the eastern woodlands to the Great Plains, these peoples thrived, deeply intertwined with nature. The Haudenosaunee Confederacy exemplified indigenous diplomacy and governance. Their representative government maintained peace and stability. The Cherokee developed a written language and advanced agriculture. Nomadic tribes like the Lakota followed buffalo herds, their lives dictated by nature. They honed their skills as horsemen and hunters. In the Pacific Northwest, tribes developed fishing techniques and towering totem poles. These nations shared a profound respect for the natural world. Section 2. The arrival of the pale strangers, seeds of change. The arrival of Europeans in the late 15th century marked a turning point in the history of North America, setting in motion a chain of events that would forever alter the lives of its indigenous inhabitants. Christopher Columbus's voyages, though mistakenly believing he had reached the East Indies, opened the door to a new era of exploration, exploitation, and ultimately conquest. Driven by a thirst for land, resources, and religious freedom, European powers, England, France, Spain, and later the Netherlands, established colonies along the Atlantic coast. They came bearing promises of trade and friendship, but their true intentions soon became clear: to claim this new world for themselves, displacing its indigenous inhabitants in the process. The Europeans brought with them not only their ambitions, but also their diseases. Smallpox, measles, influenza. These illnesses, commonplace in Europe, ravaged Native American populations who had no immunity to these foreign ailments. Entire villages were decimated, their populations weakened, their social structures disrupted, their ability to resist encroachment severely compromised. Conquest and resistance. As European colonies expanded, pressure on Native American lands intensified. Treaties were broken with impunity. Native Americans faced an impossible choice: assimilate or resist. Some tribes waged open warfare. These conflicts were brutal, but European firepower prevailed. Other tribes, like the Cherokee, sought to adapt. They adopted European customs, but efforts proved futile. The Indian Removal Act of 1830 forced displacement. The Trail of Tears resulted in thousands of deaths. Section 4. Shadows of the Past, Echoes of Resilience, the Native American Legacy. The subjugation of Native Americans stands as a stark reminder of the human capacity for cruelty and greed. The legacy of broken treaties, forced assimilation, and cultural genocide continues to cast a long shadow over the United States. Yet, amidst the tragedy and loss, the story of Native Americans is also one of remarkable resilience, of cultural survival against overwhelming odds. Despite centuries of displacement, assimilation policies, and cultural suppression, Native American languages, traditions, and spiritual beliefs have endured. From the pueblos of the Southwest to the longhouses of the Northeast, from the plains powwows to the storytelling traditions passed down through generations, Native American cultures continue to thrive, their resilience a testament to the strength and adaptability of the human spirit. In southern Nigeria, the Edo people built a powerful kingdom known for vibrant markets and bronze sculptures. The Oba, a divine king, ruled with a council of chiefs ensuring stability. Renowned for their bronze castings and textiles, the Edo people traded far and wide. Benin City, with its massive walls and urban planning, was a marvel. The Oba's palace symbolized the kingdom's power and divine authority. The white man's greed shadows over Benin. The arrival of Europeans in the 15th century spelled disaster for the Edo kingdom. Initially welcomed as trading partners, European powers sought control, fueled by greed and racism. The transatlantic slave trade cast a long shadow over the Edo kingdom. Edo rulers resisted, but European goods enticed some. The trade eroded values and sowed discord. British interest intensified in the 19th century. They sought control over trade routes, leading to a clash in 1897. The British launched a punitive expedition, overwhelming the Edo defenders. Benin City was looted and burned, its treasures taken to Britain. The Benin bronzes, a legacy looted and reclaimed. Among the treasures looted from Benin City were the Benin bronzes. a collection of bronze plaques and sculptures. These works of art were historical records depicting the lives of the Edo people. Dispersed to museums, they became symbols of colonial plunder. The Edo people and Nigerian government have been fighting for their return. The return is about restoring cultural pride and acknowledging colonial harm. These objects are imbued with spiritual significance. The fight for the Benin bronzes is part of a larger movement for cultural repatriation. Section 1. The Unbroken Thread. Amidst the ruins of empires, we realize history is not a linear progression. It's a tapestry woven from countless threads, bright with achievement, dark with tragedy. From the Aztecs to the Edo people, each civilization offers a unique perspective on the human condition. Conquest has left an indelible mark, bringing both destruction and innovation. Fallen civilizations remind us that even the mightiest empires can decline. These stories serve as cautionary tales, shaping the course of human history. Section 2. Guardians of Memory. The study of history is not merely an academic pursuit. It is a vital act, a responsibility we bear as inheritors of a shared past. Remembering the stories of those before us gives us a deeper understanding of ourselves. We must view history with truth, empathy, and confront uncomfortable realities. Listen to the voices of the conquered for invaluable insights into the human cost of conquest. Carry lessons from the past as guiding lights to illuminate our path. Build a world where diversity is celebrated and cultures are respected. Be the guardians of memory, keeping the flame of history